Have you ever struggled to connect with others, get your ideas heard, or achieve your goals? What if I told you there's a proven way to win friends, influence people, and become a leader in your personal and professional life? How to Win Friends and Influence People, by Dale Carnegie. You'll uncover the secrets to building strong relationships, becoming a leader, and achieving your goals faster than ever before. How to Win Friends and Influence People, by Dale Carnegie is a timeless classic which gives us a practical guide to improving interpersonal relationships and achieving success in both personal and professional life. The book is divided into 4 parts, each addressing a different aspect of human interaction. This modern classic offers readers practical advice and techniques that can be applied to improve relationships and achieve success in various aspects of life. In this video, we will dive into the insights and details discussed across each of the 4 parts of this modern classic. Part 1. Fundamental Techniques in Handling People, of the book is all about the techniques for how to manage people, which form the basis of successful relationships in both our personal and professional lives. The section begins by emphasizing the importance of understanding human nature, recognizing that people are primarily driven by their own self-interest. In order to effectively handle people, we must align our actions with their needs and desires. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of creating positive interactions with people by showing genuine interest, appreciation, and empathy. He argues that when we treat others with respect and kindness, we can build trust and establish a foundation for successful relationships. This involves being friendly, showing appreciation, and listening actively to what others have to say. Part 1 also explores specific techniques for handling difficult situations, such as dealing with criticism and avoiding arguments. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of listening to the other person's perspective and acknowledging their feelings, rather than becoming defensive or argumentative. By approaching these situations with empathy and understanding, we can avoid conflicts and build stronger relationships. Furthermore, Part 1 discusses the power of taking a proactive approach to handling people. Carnegie argues that rather than simply reacting to situations as they arise, we must take the initiative to create positive interactions and find ways to align our goals with the goals of others. By proactively seeking to understand and meet the needs of others, we can build successful relationships and achieve our own goals in the process. The section concludes with a discussion of the importance of sincerity and authenticity in our interactions with others. Carnegie argues that it's important to be genuine and sincere when dealing with people, rather than trying to manipulate or deceive them. He emphasizes the importance of building trust and establishing a reputation for reliability and honesty. Overall, Part 1 of How to Win Friends and Influence People lays a strong foundation for the rest of the book, emphasizing the importance of understanding and effectively handling people in order to achieve success in all aspects of life. It provides practical advice and techniques for building positive relationships, handling difficult situations, and taking a proactive approach to building successful relationships. Part 2 of the book focuses on the 6 ways to make people like you, which are essential for building successful relationships. These techniques are based on understanding human nature and recognizing what motivates people. The first technique is to become genuinely interested in other people. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of showing genuine interest in what others have to say, rather than focusing on ourselves. This involves asking questions and actively listening to the other person's responses, which can help build trust and establish a positive connection. The second technique is to smile. Carnegie argues that a smile can be a powerful tool for creating positive interactions and making others feel more comfortable. Smiling can also help convey sincerity and warmth, which are important for building trust and likability. The third technique is to remember and use people's names. Carnegie argues that a person's name is the sweetest sound to them, and that remembering and using people's names can help build strong connections and show that we value and respect them. The fourth technique is to be a good listener. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of actively listening to what others have to say, rather than simply waiting for our turn to speak. By listening attentively and asking follow-up questions, we can show that we value and respect the other person's perspective. The fifth technique is to talk in terms of the other person's interests. Carnegie argues that people are primarily interested in themselves, and that we can build stronger connections by talking about the things that interest them. By showing genuine interest in their hobbies, experiences, and perspectives, we can establish a positive connection and build trust. The final technique is to make the other person feel important. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of showing appreciation and acknowledging the other person's contributions and accomplishments. By making the other person feel valued and respected, we can establish a positive connection and build strong relationships. Overall, Part 2 of How to Win Friends and Influence People provides practical advice and techniques for making people like us. By showing genuine interest, smiling, remembering and using people's names, being a good listener, talking in terms of the other person's interests, and making the other person feel important, we can build strong connections and establish successful relationships. Part 3 of the book focuses on techniques for winning people to our way of thinking, which is essential for achieving our goals and persuading others to take action. The first technique is to avoid arguing. Carnegie argues that arguing only creates defensiveness and resistance, and that it's more effective to approach disagreements with empathy and understanding. By acknowledging the other person's perspective and finding common ground, we can avoid arguments and build stronger relationships. The second technique is to show respect for the other person's opinions. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of valuing and respecting the other person's perspective, even if we don't necessarily agree with it. By showing respect and acknowledging their opinions, we can establish a positive connection and build trust. The third technique is to never say, "You're wrong." Carnegie argues that criticizing others or making them feel wrong only creates defensiveness and resistance. Instead, we should approach disagreements with empathy and understanding, and look for ways to find common ground. The fourth technique is to see things from the other person's perspective. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of understanding the other person's point of view, even if we don't necessarily agree with it. By putting ourselves in their shoes and seeing things from their perspective, we can build empathy and understanding, and find common ground. The fifth technique is to admit our own mistakes. Carnegie argues that admitting our own mistakes can help build trust and establish a positive connection. By showing humility and taking responsibility for our actions, we can build stronger relationships and establish credibility. The sixth technique is to begin in a friendly way. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of approaching others with a friendly and positive attitude, rather than being confrontational or aggressive. By beginning in a friendly way, we can establish a positive tone and build a foundation for successful communication. The seventh technique is to get the other person saying, yes. Carnegie argues that by getting the other person to agree with us on small things, we can build momentum and establish a positive connection. By finding common ground and getting the other person to say yes to small requests, we can build trust and increase the likelihood of them saying yes to larger requests. The eighth technique is to let the other person do most of the talking. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of actively listening to what others have to say, rather than dominating the conversation. By letting the other person do most of the talking, we can build trust and establish a positive connection. The ninth technique is to let the other person feel that the idea is theirs. Carnegie argues that people are more likely to be persuaded if they feel that the idea is their own. By asking questions and guiding the conversation in a way that leads the other person to come up with the idea themselves, we can increase the likelihood of them being persuaded. Overall, Part 3 of How to Win Friends and Influence People provides practical advice and techniques for winning people to our way of thinking. By avoiding arguments, showing respect for the other person's opinions, seeing things from their perspective, admitting our own mistakes, beginning in a friendly way, getting the other person saying yes, letting them do most of the talking, and letting them feel that the idea is theirs, we can build strong connections and achieve our goals through effective persuasion. Part 4 of the book focuses on leadership and how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. Carnegie emphasizes that effective leadership is about building positive relationships, establishing trust, and inspiring others to take action. The first technique is to begin with praise and honest appreciation. Carnegie argues that people are more likely to be receptive to criticism if it's preceded by genuine praise and appreciation. By starting with something positive and acknowledging the other person's strengths and contributions, we can establish a positive tone and increase the likelihood of them being receptive to our feedback. The second technique is to call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of avoiding direct criticism, which can create defensiveness and resentment. By calling attention to mistakes indirectly and framing them in a way that focuses on the behavior, rather than the person, we can help people see their mistakes and make changes without feeling attacked. The third technique is to talk about our own mistakes first. Carnegie argues that admitting our own mistakes can help build trust and establish credibility. By being honest about our own shortcomings and mistakes, we can create a safe space for others to do the same, and encourage them to take responsibility for their actions. The fourth technique is to ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of involving others in the decision-making process, rather than simply telling them what to do. By asking questions and seeking input from others, we can empower them and encourage them to take ownership of their work. The fifth technique is to let the other person save face. Carnegie argues that people are more likely to be receptive to feedback if they feel that their dignity and self-respect are preserved. By finding ways to give feedback or criticism in a way that allows the other person to save face, we can avoid arousing resentment and defensiveness. The sixth technique is to praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of recognizing and acknowledging progress, no matter how small. By praising even the slightest improvement, we can motivate others to continue making progress and build momentum towards larger goals. The seventh technique is to give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Carnegie argues that people are more likely to behave in a way that aligns with the reputation they have been given. By recognizing and highlighting the other person's strengths and potential, we can inspire them to live up to that reputation and exceed our expectations. The eighth technique is to use encouragement. Carnegie emphasizes the importance of providing encouragement and support, rather than simply focusing on criticism and correction. By providing positive reinforcement and encouragement, we can build confidence and inspire others to take action. Overall, Part 4 of How to Win Friends and Influence People provides practical advice and techniques for effective leadership and how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. By beginning with praise and using encouragement, we can build positive relationships, establish trust, and inspire others to take action. The epilogue of the book summarizes the key themes and ideas presented in the previous chapters and emphasizes the importance of taking action and applying these principles in daily life. Carnegie emphasizes that the principles presented in the book are not merely theoretical concepts, but rather practical tools that can be used to achieve success and distinction. He stresses the importance of taking action and applying these principles consistently in our interactions with others. Carnegie also highlights the importance of developing a genuine interest in others and focusing on their needs and desires, rather than solely on our own. He argues that by adopting a service mindset and seeking to add value to others' lives, we can build strong relationships and achieve success and distinction. Finally, Carnegie encourages readers to continue learning and growing, and to use the principles presented in the book as a foundation for ongoing personal and professional development. He suggests that by consistently seeking to improve ourselves and add value to others, we can achieve a life of fulfillment and distinction. Overall, the epilogue of How to Win Friends and Influence People serves as a call to action and a reminder of the importance of taking action and applying the principles presented in the book in our daily lives. By developing a genuine interest in others, adopting a service mindset, and consistently seeking to improve ourselves and add value to others, we can achieve success, fulfillment, and distinction. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, you can find a link to the full book, as well as the Kindle and audiobook versions, in the description below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel to continue your journey on the shortcut to self-improvement.